The mug slipped from my fingers, coffee splashing across the marble floor of the Breakers' opulent lobby. The front desk clerk's voice echoed in my ears as I stared at the growing brown stain. "Miss Walker, I apologize, but I cannot find your reservation. I see bookings for your family members, but nothing under your name." Behind me, the sharp click of designer heels approached. My sister Catherine's voice carried deliberately through the grand space, each word calculated to draw attention from nearby guests. "Oh, Helen finally made it." Her voice dripped with sarcasm as she adjusted her Hermes Birkin bag. "How strange that there's no reservation for you." She stepped closer, her victorious smile widening as other guests began to stare. "Actually," she continued, "I only made reservations for our real family. A room for me, my husband and daughter, and one for Mom and Dad." Through the lobby's ornate mirrors, I could see our parents deliberately turning their backs, pretending not to witness my humiliation. The $3,200 Theory dress I'd carefully selected for our Thanksgiving dinner suddenly felt like a costume I had no right to wear. "My name is Helen Walker. I'm 33 and a pharmaceutical research director. This is the story of how I made my family finally see the consequences of their actions. For years, I'd been the family outlier, the one who built her life through scholarships, careful investments, and 80-hour work weeks. My sister crafted Instagram perfection funded entirely by our grandfather's money. $30,000 monthly allowances had created Catherine's designer wardrobe, her daughter Amy's private school education, and the facade of success she desperately maintained online. I'd seen the bank statements when helping grandfather with his accounts during his brief hospitalization last year. This was a responsibility Catherine never bothered with, despite his explicit requests. Today, standing in that lobby, something crystallized within me. The same grandfather who had taught me become someone who can stand on their own feet had unknowingly created monsters out of the rest who had never learned to stand at all. I took a slow, deep breath and said, without changing my expression, "I see. Then I'll leave." My voice came out calmer than expected. Readjusting my grip on my navy Rimowa suitcase, bought with my own money, not grandfather's, I politely nodded to the sympathetic front desk staff and opened the taxi-hailing app on my phone. "Wait!" Catherine's voice rose slightly, but I was already walking toward the entrance. She had expected tears, pleading, or public humiliation. My quiet dignity wasn't in her script. Only the sound of my footsteps echoed through the suddenly silent lobby as every witness to the scene stared at my retreating figure. Through the glass doors, I glimpsed my 7-year-old niece Amy wearing an absurdly expensive dress, fidgeting behind her mother. She was looking for me. Every Thanksgiving, bringing Amy a gift had been my tradition. This year's pearl hair clip remained beautifully wrapped in my suitcase, a gift chosen for the woman she might become, not the accessory her mother would make her into. In the taxi, I pulled out my smartphone and dialed my grandfather's number without hesitation. After our monthly financial review meetings began last year, we developed a much closer relationship than I had with my parents, who had always favored Catherine. "Helen, what's wrong?" His voice carried its usual composure, but the question revealed he sensed something amiss. Our scheduled calls never fell on holidays, and he knew I'd be with the family at the Breakers. "I have something to report," I began, my voice factual and emotionless. I laid out exactly what had happened. The missing reservation for me alone. Catherine's triumphant declaration about the real family. Our parents' complicity through their silence. I didn't add pleas for sympathy or justice. I simply stated facts, as I'd learned to do in my pharmaceutical research. The data should speak for itself. On the other end, I could hear his breathing become slightly rougher, the only indication of his tightly controlled anger. "I understand. I'll handle this from here," he said, his voice low and heavy. What happened next unfolded with the precision of a clinical trial. Within 15 minutes, my phone exploded with notifications, 10 missed calls from Catherine, increasingly hysterical voicemails, and a flood of text messages. Grandfather had clearly made good on his often-stated contingency plan, one he'd shared with me during our financial meetings but had never needed to execute until now. "Helen, Amy wants to see you. She was looking forward to our annual Thanksgiving." My friends are coming for dinner tonight. I was planning to post our perfect family Thanksgiving on Instagram. Do you know how embarrassing this situation is? From my parents, emails started arriving. We could have added another room, but as Catherine said, we prioritized the real family. You're independent now, aren't you? If you can afford it, why not get another room with your salary? It shouldn't be a big deal. Why are you being so emotional? Catherine has a family, a husband and child. You understand, right? Can't you just quietly put up with it for Thanksgiving? That's always been your problem, only thinking about yourself, never considering the family. Each message tightened my chest, but these were familiar wounds, the same discrimination I'd faced since childhood. Their words revealed not my failings, but theirs. As my Chicago-bound plane ascended through the clouds, a new email arrived from Grandfather, with all family members included as recipients. The following is my final decision to be announced, the email began in Grandfather's characteristically dignified style. Today, on Thanksgiving, an incident occurred that severely damaged our family's dignity. The cruel treatment of Helen is an injury to the Walker family name and cannot be tolerated under any circumstances. Effective immediately, I am freezing all financial support to George, Margaret, and Catherine. I must remind you that your luxurious lifestyles are entirely dependent on my support. Those who have lost sight of family's essence, drowning in vanity and pretense, no longer qualify for such privilege. Before I even finished reading, my phone lit up with Catherine's incoming calls. Her panic was evident from the frequency, 5 calls in 2 minutes. "Helen, please answer the phone. Convince Grandpa," her voicemail pleaded. Without Grandfather's monthly $30,000, Catherine's carefully constructed life would implode. The mortgage on her showpiece home, the leased luxury cars, Amy's exclusive private school, all structured around money she hadn't earned. From my parents came similar desperation. "Helen, this is about our retirement. Could you please talk to your grandfather? The $150,000 deposit for our luxury retirement home will be forfeited. Our medical insurance subsidies will stop." Their previous arrogance had vanished, replaced by uncharacteristic humility. "I'm sorry for saying such terrible things earlier, but this is a family crisis." I quietly turned off my smartphone and gazed at the sea of clouds outside the window. The picture-perfect family Thanksgiving photos that had been posted on social media every year would not be uploaded this year. For Catherine, that might be an even bigger blow than the financial impact. After landing in Chicago, I connected to my home Wi-Fi to find over 100 unread messages. Their content had grown increasingly frantic. What am I supposed to do? I won't be able to pay the loans. What about Amy's school fees? We might not be able to get the retirement home deposit back. What are we supposed to do now? I can't sleep at night thinking about the medical insurance. But what stood out most was Grandfather's final notice. "This measure is irreversible. Consider it the consequence of your own actions. Any objection to my decision will result in the termination of all remaining support." I calmly read through the incoming messages. Their formerly arrogant tone had transformed completely into desperate pleas. Never before had each family member's true nature been so clearly revealed. Setting down my smartphone, I brewed tea in my kitchen. By now, I would normally have been enjoying the hotel's luxurious Thanksgiving dinner, a special course worth $200 per person. The thought made me smile slightly. Every year, my sister's family had posted about this lavish dinner on social media, yet in reality, they had been struggling even to make monthly credit card payments. A new call came in, this time from Catherine's husband. Mixed with panic and confusion were words criticizing his wife's spending habits. It seemed cracks were appearing in their marriage as reality set in. Through my apartment window, Chicago's night skyline quietly sparkled. I remembered my own credit card statement. Full payment every month, moderate luxury within my means, no debt. Grandfather's favorite saying came back to me: "Vanity is for others, savings are for yourself." In this city, I had carved out my life through my own efforts. As Grandfather said, I had become someone who could stand on her own feet, and now I deeply felt that choice had been the right one. From my smartphone, incoming calls continued, but they were voices that would no longer reach me. 2 weeks after Thanksgiving, Chicago received its first December snow. While my daily routine in the pharmaceutical company's laboratory remained unchanged, my family's situation had undergone dramatic transformation. My sister's Instagram, previously updated almost daily with carefully staged photos of luxury items and exotic locations, had fallen silent. Her last post, a photo of her Hermes bag at an upscale restaurant tagged with numbered dream lifestyle, now seemed painfully ironic beneath comments praising what a wonderful life. Emails from my father finally showed genuine remorse. I'm reflecting on our years of extravagant living. We spoiled Catherine too much and were cold to you. I'm sorry. Similar messages arrived from my mother. With their medical insurance subsidies cut off, they were finally realizing the true cost of healthcare. Our pension alone is nowhere near enough. I finally understand how luxuriously we were living. Catherine's situation was even more serious. I received an unexpected call from her husband. I've discovered hidden debts she kept secret. I'm shocked by the credit card bills. We can't maintain this lifestyle anymore. With grandfather's support suddenly cut off, their facade of affluence was rapidly crumbling. We're considering moving to a cheaper house and looking at public schools for Amy, too. Catherine cries every night. His voice mixed exhaustion and resignation. Their marriage itself seemed to be in crisis. In contrast, my life remained peaceful. I arrived at work at 8 a.m. and returned home at 6 p.m. Weekends were spent attending investment study groups and reviewing my savings management. Just yesterday, I was promoted to team leader for a new research project. My salary was expected to increase to $200,000, and my investment operations were progressing well, with no worries about the future. Vanity brings momentary satisfaction. Savings bring lifelong peace of mind. The weight of grandfather's words was now being felt deeply by the entire family. While my parents worried about retirement security and my sister struggled with debt repayment, I was simply continuing my ordinary life. Over these weeks, the frequency of desperate emails and calls significantly decreased from daily during the first week to once or twice weekly. Their content, too, was gradually shifting toward resignation. Amy will be transferring to public school. She'll take the school bus. I never imagined. My sister's latest email showed signs of accepting reality. The dream private school life she had shared on social media would never be posted again. Our parents were also considering moving from their luxury Florida community to an affordable condominium, struggling with medical bill payments. Their dream of a luxurious retirement had crumbled easily. "We've been living with wrong values for years," read my father's latest email. However, whether this realization would become a catalyst for restoring true family bonds remained uncertain. Last week, I received a concise email from grandfather. "Awakening to the truth of life sometimes brings pain, but it's necessary pain. Your decision gave them an important lesson." I didn't reply. I just quietly saved the email. 3 months after that Thanksgiving, early signs of spring began appearing in Chicago. My life hadn't changed, or rather, it had become even more fulfilling. The new project at the pharmaceutical company was progressing smoothly, and last week I received notice of promotion. My achievements as research director were recognized, and my investment trust operations continued to grow steadily. From my office window, I could see Lake Michigan's vast surface, its waves sparkling in the spring sunlight, conveying a quiet hope. New research data piled on my desk. Time immersed in work remained my most precious time. A birthday present arrived from grandfather the other day, a simple pearl necklace. The attached card bore a single line in his familiar, elegant handwriting. "True brilliance dwells in those who stand on their own feet." I'd started maintaining minimal contact with my parents. They'd moved from their luxury Florida community to an affordable condominium and seemed to be gradually adapting to reality. Luxury brings momentary joy, but there's genuine security in a grounded lifestyle. My mother's email contained words of genuine understanding for the first time. My sister's family had moved to an ordinary suburban neighborhood. Amy had started attending public school and was getting used to riding the school bus. Catherine's social media remained inactive. How empty it all seems now, posting just to keep up appearances. Such words appeared in a rare email from my sister, days spent struggling with credit card payments. Their marriage was still strained, but at least they were no longer turning away from reality. In my desk drawer, the pearl hair clip I had prepared as Amy's present remained beautifully wrapped. Someday, when she realizes true value, when she understands the importance of standing on her own feet rather than counting social media likes, perhaps that will be the right time to give her this clip. Last week, I received a text from Amy sent from her mother's phone. It was simple. "Aunt Helen, when can I see you again?" I stared at the message for a long time. Perhaps the necessary pain had begun to heal something more important than appearances. I texted back, "Soon." Outside my window, early spring winds rustled through the street trees, announcing the beginning of a new season, not just for the city, but perhaps for our family as well.